Why smart people are claiming Social Security at 62, and you should too. There's a number the U.S. government put into law in 1983, and it quietly divides every American worker into two camps: those who act on it and those who wait. That number is 62. At 62, you become eligible to claim Social Security benefits, the monthly payment you spent your entire working life funding. And here's what the financial industry will tell you: claiming at 62 is a mistake, a trap, a decision made by people who don't understand the math. 2/3 of Americans claim before their full retirement age anyway. So either 2/3 of the country is making the same mistake, or the people calling it a mistake haven't looked closely enough at the math. Here's the model we're going to use throughout this video. Think of Social Security like a faucet. Behind your wall, there's a pipe. That pipe has been pressurizing your entire career, every paycheck, every year, every job you ever worked. The longer you wait to open the faucet, the more pressure builds. File at 70, and the water flows hard. The monthly payment is significant. But here's what nobody puts on the brochure: the faucet is yours. You paid for it. And if you wait too long to open it, some of that water never comes out. It stays in the pipe. It evaporates. The government doesn't refund you the pressure. So the real question, the one this video is actually about, is not should you open the faucet. It's when. And the answer is more personal, more specific, and more interesting than any Reddit thread or financial advisor soundbite has ever given you credit for. The Social Security Administration once built a calculator to help Americans make this decision. A free tool on their official website, designed to walk you through the break-even math. Then they removed it. Not because the math was wrong, because people were using the calculator as a final answer, when it was only ever meant to be a starting point. Think about that for a moment. A government agency built a tool to help citizens navigate one of the largest financial decisions of their lives, watched people systematically misread it, and decided the solution was to take the tool away. That's not a glitch. That's a signal. It means this decision is genuinely complicated. Complicated enough that even a government-built simplification made things worse. And it means that anyone giving you a clean, confident answer, file early, wait until 70, just trust the numbers, is probably leaving out the part of the math that doesn't fit on a slide. In this video, we're going to look at the math that gets left out. We're going to build a real model with a real fictional character using real actuarial data. We're going to walk through 7 specific conditions under which claiming at 62 is not just defensible, it's the smarter move. And by the end, you're not going to have a universal answer. You're going to have your answer. Or at least, the right question to ask. Let's build the model. Meet Professor Pat. He earned $90,000 in his final working year, roughly half the current Social Security wage cap. Solidly upper middle class. Realistic numbers. Pat has 3 choices. File at 62 and collect $2,238 per month. Wait until 67, his full retirement age, and collect $3,198. Or hold all the way to 70 and receive $3,966 every month. Now, the standard advice runs a break-even calculation. Simple arithmetic. File early, get lower payments for longer. File late, get higher payments for fewer years. At some point, the lines cross. That crossing point, somewhere in your early 80s, is when waiting finally pays off. Sounds clean. Sounds logical. Here's where it gets interesting. Most break-even models assume you'll live to roughly 79. That's the average American life expectancy at birth. But Pat isn't a newborn. Pat is 62. And if you've made it to 62 without a serious health event, the actuarial tables tell a different story. Your life expectancy at 62 is approximately 84. That's not optimism. That's statistics. Survival selection. The fact that the sick and the unlucky have already been filtered out means the population still standing at 62 skews significantly older at death than the general average. So run the model at 84. Pat files at 62. No cost of living adjustments. We'll get there. He collects for 22 years. Total, roughly $615,000. Pat waits until 67. Higher monthly check, fewer months. Total, lower. Filing early wins by approximately $72,000. But change one assumption. Drop the life expectancy from 84 to 81, just 3 years, and the math flips. Waiting until full retirement age now wins. Drop it to 78, and the optimal filing age lands right in the middle, around 65. The strategy that looks obviously right at 84 looks obviously wrong at 78. And nobody knows which number applies to them. That's the first layer of complexity. Here's the second. Those models almost always set cost of living adjustments, COLA, to 0. Every year, Social Security benefits are adjusted for inflation. That part everyone knows. Here's the part they skip. If your base benefit is larger because you delayed, your annual COLA increase is also larger. 3% of $3,966 is not the same number as 3% of $2,238. And that gap compounds every single year. Add realistic COLA assumptions back into the model, and the gap between filing at 62 versus waiting until 70 doesn't look like $72,000 anymore. It looks like $246,000. That's not a rounding error. That's a different decision entirely. So here's where we actually stand. The break-even model, the one the SSA eventually decided to delete from their website, was never capturing the full picture. Life expectancy uncertainty pulls in one direction. COLA compounding pulls in another. Your spouse, your portfolio, your tax situation, your health. All of them have a seat at the table, which means the question was never really early or late. The question is, what does your table look like? And there are 7 specific configurations of that table, where 62 isn't just acceptable, it's the move. Let's be precise about something. The argument for waiting until 70 rests on a hidden assumption that your life is average. Average health, average marriage, average portfolio, average everything. Most lives aren't average. And the 7 conditions we're about to walk through are exactly the places where the average breaks down. Condition 1. Your health trajectory is already pointing downward. If your father died at 73, your grandfather at 71, and you've already had one cardiac event, the break-even math shifts dramatically. Waiting for a larger monthly payment doesn't help you if you're not alive to collect enough of it. Filing early means you actually extract value from a system you paid into for decades. The pipe is leaking. You open the faucet. Condition 2. You want to use your retirement while your body still lets you. This gets dismissed as emotional reasoning. It isn't. Spending in retirement follows a predictable curve. High in the early years when people are mobile and active, lower in the middle years, very low at the end. The money you have at 63 is not the same as the money you have at 79, even if the dollar amounts are identical, because your capacity to use it isn't. There's a version of this story where someone spends 40 years delaying gratification, retires at 72 with everything they planned for, and spends the first 2 years attending medical appointments. The money arrived. The life didn't. That's not a math problem. That's a timing problem. Condition 3. Your spouse needs you to file first. If your spouse didn't accumulate enough work history to qualify for a substantial benefit of their own, they may be eligible for spousal benefits, up to 50% of your full retirement age amount. But they can't access those benefits until you file. Filing at 62 unlocks that income stream for your household immediately. In cases with a large earnings disparity between partners, this changes the entire household calculation, and most advisors never bring it up. Condition 4. Your spouse has a serious diagnosis and a higher benefit. This is the most counterintuitive condition, and possibly the most important. If your spouse is the higher earner and is facing a shortened life expectancy, the strategy inverts entirely. You file for your own benefit at 62, collecting your smaller amount now. When your spouse passes, you transition to their survivor benefit, which is larger. You collect something instead of nothing during the years your spouse is alive. Then you step up to the bigger faucet when the time comes. One woman following this exact strategy collected $176,000 in her own benefits during the window before switching to her husband's survivor check. $176,000 she would have left completely untouched. Condition 5. The market just crashed. This one lives almost entirely outside mainstream Social Security conversations. If you're drawing down your investment portfolio and the market drops 40%, selling assets at a loss to cover living expenses is genuinely destructive. It eliminates your ability to recover. But if you activate Social Security early, you create a guaranteed income floor. You stop liquidating at depressed prices. You give your portfolio time to recover. And if you haven't started drawing down yet, filing early during a crash lets you redirect that guaranteed monthly income directly into discounted assets. You buy when everyone else is selling, funded by the government. That's not panic. That's positioning. Condition 6. Taxes are temporarily in your favor. Up to 85% of your Social Security benefit can be taxed if your total income exceeds certain thresholds. But if you're in a low-income window right now, between retirement and the age when required minimum distributions kick in at 73, your Social Security income may be taxed very lightly, or not at all. Once RMDs start, your taxable income rises automatically. If Social Security is already running by then, you've banked years of lower tax income before the flood arrives. In some cases, filing at 62 is a tax management strategy dressed up as a retirement decision. Condition 7. You need the money. And this one gets said plainly, without softening. Life doesn't always follow the spreadsheet. Medical bills accumulate. Businesses fail. Pensions disappear. Family members need support. Social Security was designed as a foundational income floor, not a reward for patience. Using it when you need it isn't a failure of planning. It's the entire point of the system. 7 conditions. Any one of them changes the math. 2 or 3 of them together, and the case for waiting until 70 can dissolve entirely. But here's what's interesting about all 7. None of them are visible in a standard break-even calculator. None of them show up in the average financial advisor's slide deck. And none of them appear in the tool the SSA decided to delete. Which means the people calling early filers unsophisticated might be the ones missing the sophistication. Here's what the standard advice actually sounds like. Wait until 70. Delay as long as possible. The math is clear. And the math is clear under one very specific set of conditions. Perfect health. Robust savings. No pension. No spousal complexity. A portfolio earning above 8% annually. A life expectancy comfortably past 84. If all of those things describe you, the delay argument is strong. The $246,000 coal-adjusted gap we walked through in Block 02 is real. Delaying to 70 is essentially a guaranteed 8% return on deferred benefits. That's difficult to beat with any conventional investment. But notice what that advice requires. It requires that your life be average in every direction simultaneously. And the older you get, the rarer that combination becomes. There's something else worth saying out loud. The financial planning industry has a structural incentive to recommend delay. Advisors who manage your assets earn fees based on portfolio size. If you draw Social Security early, you spend less of your portfolio, which means their fee base stays larger for longer. That's not corruption. That's an incentive, and you should know it exists. It doesn't mean the advice is wrong. It means the advice was never built around your specific table. It was built around the average table and optimized quietly for the person sitting across from you. So here's the actual question. Not early or late. Not 62 or 70. The question is, which of the 7 conditions is your life? Because this is a personal financial decision with hundreds of variables, and the break-even calculator, the one the government deleted, was never meant to be the whole answer. It was a starting point that people mistook for a destination. 3 things you can do this week. First, run the break-even analysis. Then change your life expectancy assumption by +3 years and -3 years. Watch what happens to the optimal filing age. If your strategy flips completely with a small adjustment, that's not a sign you found the answer. That's a sign the margin for error is thin and you need more information before deciding. Second, if you have a spouse, do not analyze Social Security in isolation. Model your combined household benefits, spousal benefits, survivor benefits. Filing decisions for one partner directly affect the other, and the interaction effects are where most of the real money lies. Third, if you are currently in a market downturn, a low-income year, or navigating a health crisis in your family, those are exactly the moments to revisit your filing timeline. Not the plan you made in calm water years ago, the plan that fits the water you're actually in. The Social Security Administration removed their calculator because people were treating a starting point as a final answer. The financial industry simplified a complicated decision into a bumper sticker. And 2/3 of Americans, the ones filing before their full retirement age, might not be making a mistake at all. They might just be the ones who looked at their specific table, ran their specific numbers, and made the decision that fit their specific life. Smart isn't waiting. Smart is knowing when to open the faucet.